Devaaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. My blissful gorgeous selves, I am taking you in the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita now. The seeker of truth, after wisely reconsidering upon the events of life, finds himself disillusioned from manners and formalities in and through which the world is going on in merry-go-round, and then he steps on a spiritual path in search for truth. The moment you become firm in your search for truth and you started practicing shamanism meditation, you are no longer part of the material world. You are in Dharma Kshetra, in the field of Dharma, in the field of action, the Kurukshetra. There is so much to do, and as much right action purifies heart and intellect, then enormous wisdom to understand, and so much love is born in the heart to share all around. Then you no longer wishes to involve in old way all former relationships, ways of enjoying objects of attraction seem to be very shallow, time-consuming, and more like nightmare and less a reality. People's unawareness, missing in understanding, in a way sleepiness and thick-headedness become so very clear that aspirant does not want to be in that hodgepodge anymore. At the same time, old patterns of actions, old collection of vibratory impressions, sanskaras on sub and unconscious levels of mind are such that in an unknown moments or unknown ways lift up their heads and drag down into old ditches of swallowing mud of worldliness time and again. Therefore, shamanism meditation has to win the battle between discrimination and old patterns of your actions, your vibrations, your thoughts, driving over the tendency of senses to knowing their relative strength. My dear friends, it is Sanjaya who holds entire armies, who beholds, he beholds entire army. Sanjaya represents witnessing eye of introspection in Gita. If shamanism meditator uses his faculty of introspection, then he instantly achieves divine eyes. Then he can see one side is Pandava, means his inner talents, inner faculties and potentialities, and that can give him or her instantaneous enlightenment, but they need to be unfolded and used constantly. And other side is the Kaurava, means material desires, anger, sensational pulls, jealousy, possessiveness that needs to be known as obstruction. Pandavas means Pandavas are followed by reverenceful platonic love, okay, and vigilant awareness, okay, memory, okay, enthusiasm, neat and clean understanding, and involvement as lotus leaf in the water, truthfulness, honesty, trust, non-possessiveness, purity, contentment, tapas, okay, study, communicating the transcendental being, surrender to the will of the cosmic, and passion, forgiveness, and being in timelessness, being in tune with the infinite based on impulses of discretion, okay? These are so these 5 qualities are any one of these as main character has to be in life of spiritual aspirant. Then he wins, okay? Yudhishthira is upholder of truth on the level of speaking. Bhim is upholding the truth on the level of power. That means always agreeing with the speaker of truth, Yudhishthir. That's what Bhimsen always did. Always ready to fight for the truth. Arjuna upholding the truth on the level of love. And since nature of love is excellent bravery, Arjuna was supreme hero, so much so that Lord Krishna himself became his friend, the intuition. Nakula upholding the truth on the level of selfless service with utmost enthusiasm. That's why he was very most handsome person. Sahadev upholding the truth on the level of feeling at home with all compulsories to different dimensions of integration. That's Draupadi Devi, the wife, the princess Draupadi, upholding the truth on the level of holding immense energy and stamina for searching and arriving at the truth, the Kundalini. That's Draupadi. If Pandavas win, then you accomplish Shamendra meditation experience solidly and deeply all the way up to Mystica Transcendentia. Other side are Kauravas, egoism, material desires, hatred, and seduces others, putting on the garb of love. Okay? So when you seduce others in the name of love, you are that. Possessiveness and jealousy, fear of insecurity, self-deception motives and habits, and misunderstanding and confusion and suspicion and frustration and tension and skepticalness and deviltry and civiltry and traitorhood and motive of fooling around. So if these Kauravas win, then your meditation goes weaker. Attraction to materialistic life goes stronger. At last you betray your spiritual life and fall on the materialistic psychology back. Lord Krishna represents that blissful light which shines in the state of mystical transcendence and timeless state of shamanal meditation. So, son of Dhritarashtra, the blind man, Duryodhan, the material desire with 1100,000 army of sense perceptions, under the leadership of Bhishma, the ego, invades the army of Pandavas, the discretion. Okay? Pandavas are discretion. First, sanskaras means the old patterns of your actions and desires have to be excited, stimulated, and that is Drona, the guide, and stimulator of lurking old habits. Senses are always bent to cheer up the ego. Okay? That's how Duryodhana next approaches to Bhishma. To confront the invasion of material desires under the strong leadership of ego, the discriminative perceptions organize themselves in form of chakravyuha, phalanxes arranged in mysterious way. My dear friends, in pyramidal position, rising above lower pull of nature called gravitation and cooperate with uplifting energy of divinity called levitation, and then your shaman meditation begins. Then during Navanusandhan, that is what Buddhism called clapping with one hand, that Nad Yoga, a seeker of truth hears bumblebee sound from coccygeal plexus, that is Muladhara chakra. Then flute sound arises from sacral plexus, Svadhisthana chakra. Then veena, string instrument, that music arises from umbilical plexus, that is Manipur chakra. And then gong bell sound arises from cardiac plexus, Anahata chakra. And then ocean roar arises from laryngeal plexus, that is Vishuddha chakra, and a celestial concert of all five music begins to echo and re-echo, sound and resound from carotid plexus to Agnya Chakra, okay? 10,000 petal lotus on the top of the head. These spiritual sounds go louder and louder and strike great fear, almost tearing about the hearts of materialistic allusions and sensational, sensual tendencies and captivations. Okay? And they loosen their grip upon seekers of truth, is described in Gita verses 14 to 20. Then, in order to destroy all our thoughts or restlessness of the mind, seeker of truth awakens a fiery willpower through self-control, through process involving Uddiyana Bandha and Shambhavi Mudra and Unmani Mudra. When spiritual aspirant is very firmly set and established in discretion and well organized, then he wants to see and find out himself where he stands, whom he has to confront and from what he has to rise above, who with how much strong they are, with whom he has to fight and overcome, upon which depends his attainment of enlightenment as described in verse 20-23. Okay? Then in the light of discrimination and introspection, when aspirant looks upon the hordes of old lifelong friends of sanskaras, that is, old patterns of thoughts, and previous habits of his mind and senses, his old conceptions and beliefs regarding spiritual matters and his ego, and he has now to destroy, and then in turn they too with full force prepared and ready to not let him bypass them. Then Arjuna, the beholder of love and truth, requests Lord Krishna the intuition, the mystic trance experience about knowledge or samadhi, intuition. Then in the light of discrimination, introspection, when aspirant looks upon the horse of old lifelong friends, of old patterns and previous habits of his mind and senses, his old conceptions and beliefs regarding spiritual matters and his ego, all he has now to destroy, and then in turn that too with full force prepared and ready to not let him bypass. Then Arjuna, upholder of love and the truth, requests Lord Krishna, who is embodied timeless, eviless, breathless state of consciousness, the mystic trance-born intelligence or samadhi-born understanding, to place the chariot of life in the middle of the two armies. And Lord Krishna immediately does that. Okay? That's how described in the Bhagavad Gita. Then, overtaken by great sympathy for them, his mouth parches and limbs perspire, body trembles, and filled with sorrow in thought of fighting with long lived together with such material desires, he almost faints. Once you start looking at a person, situation, and things positively or negatively, same kind of thought vibration starts filling your brain abundantly. So much so that your whole vision is changed. You become a totally different person. A little mistake and earth and heaven split apart. And once you go on in wrong direction, it takes eons to get back to the right point, my dear. In such occasions you betray, you become a traitor, you do some heinous deviltry. It's not all of a sudden, but you have been absorbing drop by drop since long, not knowing it was inconsistent and wrong for your integration and achievement of the goal once you destined for. You become shocked to find your lifelong friends of sense and tendencies opposing your efforts of meditation and intergalactic culture-based lifestyle. Then, instead of fighting, you become sympathetic. Instead of fighting with them, you become sympathetic towards them and attached and become weak to understand the right and 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 walk more further on the spiritual path. And then you say, no, no. Even to accomplish empire of 3 worlds, I cannot destroy my old kinsmen of material desires, my old conceptions and prejudices and beliefs. You feel missing your old movies, old operas and romantic songs of your youth, your old social life. You are visiting around recreational centers and other activities and walking on the streets and the beaches and the piers with your girlfriends or boyfriends. You feel missing. You feel missing. Then from space, some atheistic, complicated, astral send messages. God is nothing but an invention of a consolation to human weaknesses. No enlightenment exists. There is no absolute truth as such. I should not escape from life in the name of attaining fantasy. I should not escape from life in the name of attaining fantasy, island of transcendental plane of existence, or absolute truth, or moksha, or enlightenment. Okay? Okay? Then in order to rationalize your cowardice approach and escape from the truth and involving in old rotten past in new garb, you are provided with appropriate logic by wrong and confused people. When you have such a mind, then mostly right person, you do not dare to approach, or they just don't appeal to you. But wrong person verily appeals to you, okay? When you give way or pay attention to insincere thoughts, then mind discovers similar suitable logic, such as if I try to finish up with my old desires, then there will be suppression and that will cause psychosomatic disorders. If I starve senses and mind from their necessities, which means gratification, then they will cease to function well and produce hallucinations. If this confused person happened to be very intelligent one, then he or she thinks even though putting an end to sense tendencies may prove to be okay from point of view of discretion, still denouncing the physical pleasures seems to be loathsome. So how terrible that I am ready to evaporate my own dear senses. Thinking thus, the aspirant becomes despondent, and dropping shamanism meditation, he fastidiously sits at the back of the chariot of intuition and refuses to perform series of consistent actions to further evolutionary stages of consciousness of a mystic trance, in which alone true joy is available, for which he is searching, still searching, and he will keep searching. This is, my dear friends, described in Bhagavad Gita from 31 to 47. This is why this first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is named as Yoga of Despondency. Despondency is an energy. It is up to you to make it a yoga, as Arjuna did, being despondent and pessimistic to all and everything, but remained open and receptive to Lord Krishna. You too have this passion. Be detached and despondent, knowing the futility of everything, but be ecstatic to visit my website, finding me, and with full force be attuned mm, to my message. Be open and receptive to understanding Varna Shamendra meditation. Otherwise, despondency is life-damaging. It may drag you to greater bhoga, the sense gratification, or laziness and lethargy. So, my dear friends, the message of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is to make your despondency, make your negativity, make your hopelessness a yoga. Fight the battle of life. If you escaped in bhoga, in sensationalism, in workaholic tendencies, or in tamoguna, or intoxication of wine, then that is to incur sin, and that is a dungeon. Okay? That you lose life.